Lloydminster City Hall had a few special guests this afternoon. Some students from Queen Elizabeth Elementary School came to help kick off Lloyd FM's 33rd annual Gift of Christmas campaign. Joy to the world. A selection of grade 1 to 6 students sang Christmas carols at council chambers as Lloyd FM officially launched their campaign. The goal of the project, to make sure all kids in Lloydminster have a gift to open during the holidays.
I know last year, I'm pretty sure it was bigger than ever before, so we're aiming to top that again this year. And it really depends on the generosity of the community. And last year, they donated, they just kept giving. More toys kept rolling in, so we're hoping for the same thing again this year.
This is the first year Queen Elizabeth School has been involved in launching the program, and these students understand why it's important to give back to those less fortunate.
So they could always be happy and have fun with their parents.
For a full list of where you can drop off toy donations, visit the Lloyd FM website at lloydfm.com. It began with weekly barbecues outside a local church as part of a small soup kitchen to feed those in need. But now, with the support of the community, the Olive Tree has also opened a new thrift store. Although the nonprofit organization is up and running, there are still a few challenges they face.
Sometimes just having someone to talk to just changes their entire perspective on their day or on a decision that they're trying to make. So that's big for us.
Becky Sheely sees about 50 people every night at the soup kitchen, and she says everyone can relate to these people in one way or another.
I've never been homeless per se, but I've had some of the same feelings that they have, be it anger or sadness or whatever. And so being able to walk them through their issues, you know, you kind of reflect on your own and say, oh, well, okay, well, I could do this different next time.
Helping those in need is what fuels Becky to continue expanding the services offered by the organization.
We would like to grow to serve every night, supper every night. We have talked about implementing a breakfast program, and we want to have family programs. So maybe a women's cooking class Wednesday afternoons, men's, coffee and card nights, that sort of stuff.
But she says before implementing any programs, there are still a few issues to smooth out first.
We also had to modify the building a little bit just because we do have the thrift store downstairs and soup kitchen upstairs. So we had to add security doors. We had to replace the hot water tank, some electrical. Actually, the sewage system went last week.
The thrift store has been successful so far and is a big help in raising funds.
I was volunteering at the Salvation Army store when it was closing, and so we made it possible to purchase all of their equipment before they closed.
Donations and volunteers are always needed. It takes between 6 and 12 volunteers each meal.
We have lots of different groups in town coming to cook, and we have people dropping off food and volunteers, so we've been very blessed.
The organization is based at the Family Life Church and is rent-free for the entire year. They're hoping to purchase the building by August.
The Olive Tree's Soup Kitchen is open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5:30 to 6:30, and the thrift store is available to the public every Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, call 780-870-1060 or visit their Facebook page. It's time for a historic look at past news stories in retrospect this week from the archives. In the past, we've covered the sights and sounds of the border city. This week, Brian Hardy brings us the smells.
It's November 1990 and the oil industry is being blamed for the noxious odors in Lloydminster.
Oil companies, especially refineries, are often fingered for causing pollution problems. Here in Lloydminster, nobody likes the smell or the smoke from the refinery. Husky officials say the smell isn't dangerous.
All the information that we have is that nothing that we're emitting is harmful health-wise. It's an irritant.
Howell says the company is spending big bucks trying to eliminate the problem. Over $400,000 is being spent to reduce pollution in the loading area. Husky has also set up a monitoring system to keep track of pollutants in the air.
One good thing about this weather is the fact that the bulk of what the refinery produces is road asphalt, and in the winter the plant only runs at about 20% of capacity. I'm Mike Long for Oil Week.
This week in 2006, the new ethanol plant is being blamed for the smell.
Everyone has a unique way to describe what's in the air.
It smells like burnt chocolate cookies. putrid kind of smell.
Rotten, I don't know, rotten eggs on that side.
Just like the analysis, most people aren't sure where it's coming from. One of the major contributors to the odor is the Husky ethanol plant that has been operating for about 2 months.
Husky did not want to do an interview on camera, but when we spoke with them over the phone, they did assure us that it is not a health concern.
For years, Lloydminster's industries have been giving off strong emissions, but some feel this doesn't compare.
It's one that I never smelt before, and I lived here for 6 years.
Does it worry you at all?
No. Not with the other smells in Lloyd.
Amy Martin, Newcap News.
Join us next time when we get into the Christmas spirit on Retrospect, this week from the archives.
More than 150,000 kids in the country live with a form of disability, according to Statistics Canada. Here in the border city, the Snowflake House Respite Foundation offers help to families who have children with special needs. Saturday night was the foundation's annual fundraiser. Annika Notveit has a story.
It's an organization many people in the border city look to for support. Amy Lebrec is thankful for the foundation and uses their services twice a week for her son, Doug.
Just to alleviate a little bit of the stress of having, to find a babysitter and relieve the stress of my kids having to actually watch them on those days. So it works really good.
So it depends on what the child's special needs are, and then we match them up with somebody who has the skills to deal with that, and it gives the parents a break for whatever they want to do.
A dinner, silent auction, and a comedian were on the agenda for the gala, and even the Bantam hockey team lent a helping hand for the evening.
They just come out to our games and watch and everything, so it's just give back to them. It's the main thing we can do. We're cleaning up dishes and handing out the food for them, and just try not to get in the way.
The foundation does home visits, as well will take clients out for public activities.
Currently we do hourly respite, which means we go into the client's home and we spend time there, or we take the client out and have some fun out in the public doing swimming or bowling or shopping.
And Lebrec wants to encourage other families.
But for their families as well that have children with special needs and maybe don't know where to turn to find that sort of respite that they're looking for.
Annika Notveit, Newcap News.
Now, the gala raised more than $5,000, a record for the foundation. All proceeds are going towards a new building for the Respite House and activities for the clients. A captain from Four Wing Cold Lake knows what it's like to be Ironman. Not the Hollywood blockbuster, but the triathlon version. Captain Joel Maley competed in the Ironman competition in Kona, Hawaii last month. Swim 3.8 kilometers, bike 180 kilometers, and run a full marathon. Captain Maley, a structural engineer on the base, has been training since 2009. He says the preparation includes swimming 3,000 to 4,000 meters a week and these intense workouts.
In addition to that, probably 3 or 4 bikes on average a week. One of those bike rides would normally be a 4 or 5 hour ride, occasionally even up to 6 hours or 200 kilometers. And then normally each week would be 3 to 4 runs as well, one of those being a longer run in the neighborhood of maybe 30 plus kilometers.
It was his second time in Kona this year. He placed 970th in the overall competition. Maley was against the best of the best, competing with more than 2,000 athletes, but he says he felt very comfortable among them.
Yeah, the pros start ahead of you, but I mean, it's not uncommon to run into the pros all week, and they're more than happy to stop and talk to you and sign autographs, whatever it would be. And that's probably one of the coolest things about racing triathlon is the pros are so accessible and they're so down to earth.
Danielle Allard has known Maley ever since he joined the base and is not at all surprised at how far he has come.
It's exhausting, and just the fact that undertaking an Ironman triathlon in itself is quite the endeavor. In order to do the one in Hawaii, you actually need to qualify for it. So you need to do quite a few ahead of time in order to meet the qualifying times to be able to secure your spot when you go to Kona.
Maley is now recouping from the feat and has already signed up for a qualifying competition for Kona next year. It's an award-winning play that has gained international attention, and now God of Carnage is being brought to Vermilion and Lloydminster. Vermilion Theatre Productions has been rehearsing the play for about a month and is now ready to release the 4-actor play.
For mitigating circumstances.
When you murdered that hamster?
Murdered?
Yes.
I did not murder that hamster.
Yes, you did. And you've done your very best to make us feel guilty.
God of Carnage is about 2 pairs of parents who meet after one of their children hurt the other at a park. They try to solve their children's problem, but instead another truth is revealed.
When in fact, when you pull off the mask, as it were, you realize that the ugly underneath is that they're just as infantile as their own children.
The play was chosen because of its universal theme.
It's one that any of us who are parents see going on around us all the time. We're probably a bit of a part of it ourselves.
Don't work yourself up into the state, Veronique. It's ridiculous.
The tools were his idea. Entirely his idea.
It also reveals the darker human nature that I think is always there. Like, we try to pretend that we're civil and we're nice and we care about everyone, but I think underneath it all, we all just care about ourselves.
The play is completely character-driven with intense moments and black comedy in between, a show many adults and parents will enjoy.
The doors of which I've opened in the spirit of reconciliation to people who ought to be thankful to me for it.
It's a lot of fun to play with all of the actors, and a lot of fun to try one's hand at direction at the same time, and be able to put on 2 hats, as it were.
God of Carnage will be showing in Vermilion on November 28th at the Alumni Theatre at Lakeland College, and in Lloydminster the next 2 days at the Black Box Theatre. All shows begin at 8 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at the door or at Cloud number 9 in Vermilion.